What does that sound, you ask?
From the number one station, you come.
Welcome to the Rec Show podcast, a show dedicated to beatmakers around the world. Kick back, relax with the host, Golden Mind.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening.
What's good, everybody? Happy 404 day, man. It's April 4th. What's the coincidence? I think not, yo. Yo, man, we got another dope episode, man. My guest you're gonna hear when we start the interview, man. But yo, man, amazing conversation. It's 404 day, man, so I see everybody showing their support for 404 day. Raj G, Puba Records, man, in California, they having a beat set, man. Shout out to the Raj G estate and the family, man. And yeah, man, we keeping his memory alive, yo, because he was a dope one, man. I didn't know him personally, but I just felt it through the music. So yeah, man, I hope y'all having a great day. I hope y'all counting your blessings and not y'all's problems. Yeah, Roz. And yeah, we're going to be back with the interview real soon. All right, stay tuned, man. Check out the links in the bio, in the description of the show, all right? Yeah. Peace and love, yo. Check 1 2. Peace and love, everybody. Golden9 here. David Golden9 Hicks here for the Rec Show podcast, man. Thank you all for tapping into the show. Yo, we got another dope episode this week. Yo, I literally just put out the episode with J Phil from howtomakeverysickbeats.com. You know what I mean? So I need y'all to go ahead and check that out, man. Get to know J Phil on a more personal level, a musical level as well, what he's got going on, Twitch, YouTube, his music, all that type of stuff. And then check out the archives from the beginning of this year, man. We had Rex Mason on, your boy Pax, Ricky, the Bump Show, like yo, man, the Bump Show episode, we had like some of the most creative people that I know of right now, and I'm still learning, man. There's so many creative people out there, man. So go ahead, run that up, man. But this week, man, we are in California, man. Yo, I seem to be in California a lot these days, man. So, California got something. You know, I can't
There's
put my
something
finger
in the water. There's something in the air.
Can't put my
Maybe
finger on it.
Maybe it's the weed. Who knows?
So
Who knows?
So, yo, man, we are tapping in with a beatmaker. I just the way he creates his beats, man. I want to say like a I want to. It's not an orchestra. Man, just the way he like comes up with the beats, man, and he's painting pictures with his beats and his music and stuff like that. But then also, he is he might be the CEO. He might be the creator of Art Project Recordings. So,
I can neither confirm nor deny that, but I am affiliated with that top-notch outfit of creatives based in Los Angeles. Yeah.
Yo, man. So it's so many people attached to that, man. We're going to get into that. He's a live performer, man. Yo, he does it all, man. He making beats in airports and all that stuff, man. So, yo, we're going to tap in with the one and only Skyscraper. What's up, Skyscraper? How you doing, bro?
Chilling. I am awesome. Is my audio okay on your end? You can hear me well?
Oh, yeah. You loud and clear, bro.
Super dope. Yeah, I'm awesome. I'm excellent. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yo, man. So I only gave a little bit for the internets that might not know you, man. So if they don't know you, they need to slap themselves right now, man. And then they need to go in, check out the discography. But can you just give a little introduction as far as, you know, who you are, you know, what your name means, how your name was created, any affiliations you might be a part of as well.
Word. Those are all awesome questions. My name is Skyscraper. It stems from, it started out originally as, the concept was totally different. It was like more architectural, about like buildings and going from like stacking levels on top of levels. I came up with the name after I was finishing an art project that I was working on for years with my wife that went by the name Fish Scale. And we were finishing those projects for Fish Scale, and I wanted to put out a different set of music. And I wanted to name it something that would be, you know, definitively not Fish Scale. And, you know, I'm into like design, architecture, shit like that. And I ended up, you know, stumbling upon the name Skyscraper. It was at random, but I thought about what a skyscraper is, what a skyscraper does. You know, towers over, it's kind of cold, impersonal. You don't really know what's going on inside of it. So the first batch of skyscraper stuff that I made had a more mechanical, glitchy type feel to it. And, you know, even though it still has some like 808 bass tip to it, but it was just different. And as the project went on and as I got more comfortable creating without my partner, it became more and more organic. And I started looking at the concept of skyscrapers and applying that to the natural world. I started looking at plants. I got a pretty big backyard, so I would sit in my backyard and just daydream and watch stuff grow. And I came up like with the concept of like everything that comes from the ground is like reaching for the sky, like the sun powers all of this. Then I was like, everything that grows is a skyscraper. I'm constantly trying to reach a higher height, musically, artistically, creatively, just in general. So the name, it took on a whole other meaning for me. You know, I use a symbol of a palm tree often because it gets no more skyscraperier than that. Like a palm seed can fall in between a crack in the sidewalk, and 10 years later it's 50 feet in the air and that sidewalk is destroyed. You know, all because that seed, that plant was just doing what it was supposed to do with wind, air, water, and sunlight. You know what I mean? So it took on a whole other different meaning from that. So it's basically constantly looking up, being aware of what's above you, and you can take that however you want to take that. And it's also being guided by things that are above me. You know what I mean? Like when I create, I get into a space where I know that I'm just an antenna, and you know these sounds, these collages come out of me through me, but I don't think I store them in me for any amount of time. Like they're not there when I sit down and turn everything on. It's like I open the window, I go outside, a bird flies by, and I watch that pattern, and out of that pattern comes a beat or a bass line or an idea for a beat. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So Skyscraper is basically about being up there, and you can take that how you want to.
Yo, you know? You definitely in touch with the like nature, the infinite, like just, oh man, damn, bro.
Word.
Yo, that's dope. Yo, that's crazy dope, yo. Like, okay.
Thank you.
Yo, man, we got to talk about art project recordings, man. That's your baby, or I mean that's your family, right? So that's your music.
I can't even front. That is something that I had written in a notebook for several years. Just an idea, you know what I mean? Just a name, you know? I don't know if you've ever done that where you just come up with stuff in your mind like, yo, this is, you know, one day I'm gonna use this. And that name I had been sitting on for a minute, and I had, I guess, taken a break from doing Skyscraper stuff. You know, life was lifing for a minute, and I couldn't really, I couldn't give it the amount of energy that it deserved. So I kind of put it on the shelf for a minute. And then when it was time to reactivate that due to, you know, the United States COVID restrictions, and I ended up getting an art scholarship, if you will.
Word.
You know, we'll call it that. I ended up receiving, you know, from the government a scholarship to basically make art. And I put that, you know, built a small studio in the back of our house, which is where I'm sitting right now. It's the Church of Radiant Autonomy, aka Skylab. You know, it's an archive of culture and just reference points for me musically, and filled with books and movies and, you know what I mean, toys, you know, that type of stuff. But where were we going from this? Where?
We just talking.
We're talking about art project.
Art project. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, so you know, I'm making beats, you know, getting familiar with my new setup or whatever, and ended up meeting a pretty influential person on the scene. I don't know if you're familiar with Plug Research Records. They put out Quadrin. They had Bilal for a minute. Shafiq Hussein's record came out on them. I recommend you look them up. It's run run by one of the coolest people I've ever met. This dude Alan Avasanian, and he hit me up. Like, he found my music on SoundCloud. I put out a Christmas beat tape that year, and he thought it was pretty dope, and he wanted to talk more about me doing, you know, potentially what I wanted to do. And this was like right after Christmas. He said we were going to talk after the first of the year, and he was like, send me some more of your stuff. So, you know, I put him together a pack of beats and a pack of projects, because, you know, I'm also a person that works as myself, as well as under a couple different aliases that, you know, I may or may not confirm today. I'm not sure. But, you know, so I sent him some stuff, and we originally were supposed to talk after the first of the year, and we ended up talking before the year was up. And he offered me a situation to distribute my music through a, you know, digital distribution platform that he consulted for. And I was like, word. I couldn't believe it. And then it turned into, do you have enough information to share with the world? And I was like, yeah. I had a bunch of ideas. And then I got a couple friends, you know, like Rozo Regal, who we'll get into, who's a genius. And my man DB the God, who is also a super talented beatmaker, rapper, just multi-hyphenated dude. He's a real talent, as is Rosalind. I'm honored, you know, to roll with them. But we ended up putting together a package, and we started dropping stuff. That April, the first release that we did was a Skyscraper project called High Stranger. And I'd never put out anything. Like, all my stuff had been like SoundCloud, like super quiet, Bandcamp, like I'll just tell the homies type stuff. But you know, through this process, I've learned, you know, pretty much how to oversee the day-to-day of running a label. You know what I mean? And especially in this modern age, like I come from the era of concrete, tangible media.
Your vinyl,
Exhibit A.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, and to be in a situation where, you know, I didn't need manufacturing anymore. You know, I do you know, we're just getting into making physicals now, but we're treating them as like limited edition pieces of art. Not just, there's 100 million of these and none of them are special for anything other than what's contained inside. Like, no, these are special because we made them for you. You know what I mean? Like, the spirit moved us to create this, and you're smart enough to know what's good, so we're gonna share it with you. You know what I mean? That's what we're getting into now. You asked me about affiliations earlier. You know, Art Project is definitely the unit for sure. First and foremost, I'm down with ladies who love loops. I'm not a lady, but it's these girls out here, these women that throw this party. I know you know them. Yeah, Duckworld affiliated. You know what I mean? I've been hanging out with them. They've been plugging me in with a lot of, you know, stuff that I've been doing. And I roll with the legendary Leimert Park scene as well. So, you know, I don't know, I guess All City sometimes. You know,
All City's heavy, man. All City always has some heavy hitters, man.
I'm good in a lot of different hoods. I guess I can say that. You know what I mean? Yeah. For a lot of different reasons too. Not everybody, you know, even knows I make music. You know what I mean? People think that I'm a chef, which I am. You know, people think I'm an amateur comedian, which I am. You know what I mean? So, you know, but it's good to be in this position, to be able to, you know, especially with the way the world is, to be able to create in my truest way. You know what I mean? I'm not concerned about, not to be a jerk or nothing, but I don't care who hears it. You know what I mean? I'm making music because this is the music that is coming out of me. You know what I mean? I'm not putting stuff together like with the intention to quote unquote move units. I'm here to document my existence, and this is how I get down. Y'all get down like this, respect. This is how me and mine get down, like that. You know what I mean? So we're making moves slowly, surely, building a name. You know, Art Project is definitely, we on the runway. You know, we about to take off. We can say that. Yeah, definitely.
Yo, man, like when I was doing the research for the show, man, I'm like, yo, it's so much talent in Art Projects. And then I'm seeing you doing live performances with what's the one you just said?
Duck World. I did some stuff with them. I just did Love Supreme in Ontario. Yeah, my first headlining gig. Hey. I didn't even know I was headlining until I got the list of show, like right before the show started, and I was last, and I was like, oh, I'm headlining. And imagine being on a show with like assassin level killers, right? You know, Alamo. I don't know if you know Alamo was there. Yeah. Blkgod9, Klopsy, Pax is sick with it. Who else? I mean, their whole team is like, what? I'm gonna like, and then I'm sitting there, right? Because I like to get to the spot early. I'm sitting there, I'm chilling, I'm catching the vibe, open aux vibes or whatever. Everybody in the open aux was a killer, so I'm like, oh. And then as the night went on, the Resonance played, and I was like, yo, what am I gonna play? So in my mind, I'm like, okay. I went through like 5 different configurations of the music that I had in this folder that just said beat set. Wow. Right? And I'm like, oh. And I was gonna start in one place, but it was like such a dope vibe that was conducive to just stretching out. Like, and I don't know if anybody would want to take the time to go to Love Supreme on Twitch and check it out, but it's up there. I'm at the end. And, you know, I'm not gonna front. If I was in the audience, I'd be like, woo, you know what I mean? And that's the response that I got from a lot of people. A lot of people were like, damn, you did that. And I really felt that it was an honor to feel that vibe, to know that like I couldn't come whack. I couldn't come even remotely close to whack. Because like I said, I'm in a room full of, you know, assassin level killers. You know what I mean? Like everybody in there was dumb impressive. You know, I met some new people that I'd never heard of before. Like I met this dude, the Handsome Dog, bruh.
Handsome Dog.
He on some other, like he make beats, he raps. You know what I mean? It was just an all around good evening for the arts in general. And, you know, that's what I like about, you know, this scene that I'm tapping into now through like Matty J at JDC Records. I played there, and that was just the most fun shit ever. Just to just flex in a record store, like you know what I mean. I got to dig for samples before I played a bunch of samples. Like it gets no more hip hop. Like it gets no more hip hop than that. Like what else? Like that's it. You know what I mean? For like what I love, which is digging and then showing off a little bit too. It's like, all right, let's go. You know, so I mean, I'm grateful to be in that position, and I'm happy to be able to, you know, put some of my people on. You know, and the only stuff that's coming out of our project is the next, and there's no other way to describe it. It's our sound is kind of, you may find it familiar at first, but if you listen to it again, it's like a whole different approach sometimes to sampling or to the way that stuff gets put together. You know, there's a lot of differences that I think separate the work that we do. You know, no disrespect to anybody working, because everybody working right now is already doing something amazing. Just the fact to be able to carve out space to actually create in this societal environment, I guess, is, you know, it's a tough time for artists. But, you know, we trying to take that and reflect it outward, you know. Like in times like this, warriors go to war, politicians politic, and creators create. So we doing our job, you know?
Right. Yo, man. Yeah, when you did Love Supreme, man. Shout out to Love Supreme. Shout out to T. Einsall. Shout out to Matty J. He does organic beat sessions in the record store that you were talking about. I'm looking at all of these from just Instagram, Twitch, YouTube, you know, all that stuff, man. I'm like, damn, like sooner or later, man, I'm gonna get out there. Yo, T-Dot been trying to get me out there for a little bit.
Man, you gotta come, bro.
Yeah,
you gotta come, because you know what you doing is a whole other set of situation as well. Yeah, you know what I mean. I'm a fan. I was a fan of what you did before I even met you. You know what I mean? And then to discover the work you're doing with the podcast, which is like an encyclopedia for me. Like, it's like the Marvel universe of this universe. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, so this is that person, and they do this, and they do that. Like, whoa, it's a really dope reference point for, you know, somebody that's like new to the scene, or, you know, which, I mean, for all intents and purposes, I am, you know, I've been lurking for a minute, but, you know, now it's showtime, time to share.
Right.
You know?
Yo, how long have you been creating beats, man?
I've been making beats in several different camouflaged versions of myself for years. I mean, from before I had facial hair, you know, and you know, we'll just leave it at that.
It's growing.
You know, it's working on it. You know, it's doing a little something. Right. You know, I never had it before. Like it's all new. You know what I mean? But like this round of actual Skyscraper activity is going into its like beginning of its third year, its third spring of me actually like kind of pushing it, but not really. I think just having stuff for people to stumble upon. You know what I mean? I'm the type of person, I think most people are like this. Like nobody really likes to be told like, yo, this is really dope. You should check it out. But if you find it on your own, casually, then it's like, oh. And then if you are the type of person that's, you know, a digger, then you peel back another layer and you're like, oh, well, that project is related to this. And it's this dude doing this on this, but is that him? Who's that in the mask? You know what I mean? Like, what's going on here? Which is, you know, kind of what we're trying to do with it. It's not like everybody wears a mask, but there's a lot going on with the team. You know, it's Skyscraper on the label. We got projects from Rozo Regal, who's an amazing singer, songwriter. Now she can add Beatmaker to her list. Straight out of Watts, California. What? You know what I mean? Yeah, all day. You know, my man DB the God, who's a incredible rapper, songwriter, beatmaker, just an all-around good dude. We got a rap guy, Scares the Enemy. You know, I don't really like him. He comes around when he wants to. He does what he wants to do. You know, he takes beats and never gives them back. And then all of a sudden I hear there's an album coming out. Take that how you will. But what else? There's a electronic noise project that's about to drop called My Fancy Nude Parade. And it's just like a bunch of glitch stuff, found sounds. I'm about to drop another Skyscraper project on the 20th of April. It's called Nod Future. And I'm putting the finishing touches on that this weekend and about to turn that in. And, you know, we got, like, every artist on the label has stuff coming. We got collaboration stuff with some of our other favorite labels, like in and out of LA. You know what I mean? Like, the legend is spreading. You know, my orbit is starting to get bigger than LA, starting to travel a little bit. You know, like, I mean, prime example, like my first show doing beats was last year at Hiero Day in Oakland. You know what I mean? To get invited up to go play on the beat stage there was like, whoa. You know, and I had never really shared in front of people before. So, you know, that was a trip. Yeah, you know, I mean, like, I've worked as a DJ before. So, you know, I'm used to being in front of people, but that's a whole other set of camouflages and tails. But, you know, as Skyscraper, that was my first, last September 5th was the first Skyscraper actual show. And every month since then, I've done at least 2 shows a month without like, hey, I'm available for booking. People hit me up like, hey, come play here. Every time I play, something happens. So it's like, every time I play, I grow. You know what I mean? I pick up more fans. I get better, you know, and people get to see what we're doing. And that, you know, that's the important thing, really, is to see that, you know, some different stuff is getting made in LA.
Yo, the music is speaking. The music is speaking for you. You ain't even gotta advertise or none of that stuff.
Word. Thank you, sir.
Yo, man. Okay, listen, man. Like, speaking of that, man, because that's how I found you. Like, I'm just going through my IG, you know, whatever like the algorithm presents you with, because I just follow Beatmakers. That's it. Right. So, and then I come across, I think it was either Organic Beat Sessions or it might have been Love Supreme, and I'm like, yo, like, who is this? So then that's when I'm like, oh yeah, let me hit this man up, man, because this guy got something, man. You know, we've been in contact ever since, bro.
Yeah, it was a trip. Like, oh, that's this dude. Oh, yeah.
Yo, man. So I gotta add, I'm gonna go in history, just a little in your history, just a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I gotta ask, like, how did you even begin to, you know, want to create beats and sample and, you know, all and live perform as well? How did you even get into it? Why music? Out of everything that you can create, why music?
I think music is the most challenging for me, especially the way that I make it. It's like every time I make something, I'm confronted with like, am I gonna be able to do that again? You know what I mean? Like, where did that come from? Like, I sit back and listen to stuff that I've made now, and I'm like, yo, that's kind of where'd that come from? You know what I mean? So I'm always worried about that. And I think that there's so much music to be discovered. Like, you know, I'm in a room full of records.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But this is only like a small piece of the sum total of music that's been made. I want to know all about all of it, or as much of it as I can.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And through the magic of hip hop, you know, thanks Ronald Reagan for taking the money out to schools, because if he hadn't done that, I'd be a saxophone player, probably. And there's nothing wrong with that either. But, you know, because of that, you know, and seeing Grand Mixer DXT on the Grammys, the American Music Awards that year, and Herbie Hancock, and just Beat Street, and all these amazing cultural iconic references, like I moved in that direction. I DJ'd for years, like all over the place, and, you know, always wanted to make beats, and made a lot of beats, like in a previous existence, for people, you know, and, you know, was on the college radio circuit with that stuff, which was fun and great, but it wasn't like exactly what I wanted to do. The stuff I'm doing now is like, it has no boundaries. It's just whatever I feel like, or whatever I hear or want to try to interpret, you know. Like, I make a lot of my music at this time of year. Like, springtime is major for me. Like, the violence of spring, you know, people is like, oh, spring is so cutesy. Nah, spring is violent, yo. like violent weather, wind, upheaval. Spring is all about upheaval. And the pain of growth. Imagine, you know, you're a seed and water gets on you, and then you get warm and you think you chilling, but next thing you know, you busting open. Something has burst forth from you, and you're no longer what you thought you were due to these outside forces. You know, that's how I feel about music. I'm not my original self because of the music that I've heard and the experiences that I've had that are relative to that music, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
Man, we on some, we definitely in the frequency right now, bro. Like,
word.
Yo, man. So that's how you got into it. So I just have to ask, like, when you were growing up, like, what family members were you around? You know, what kind of music was being played in your household, and, you know, at school and all that type of stuff?
I mean, you know, my mom's was you know, I'm originally from Cincinnati, Ohio.
Another Ohio native? Jay from Ohio, you from Ohio? Man.
You know, a lot of people. And then if you look back into the, you know, the pantheon of Ohio folks that make music is deep. That culture is rich.
Man.
It's something about being in the middle of something with nothing really to do other than discover shit. And that was me and music. You know, summertimes I would work in the library. Library got books, they got magazines, and they got records. You know what I mean? My pops was heavy into records. I get my musical sensibility that I employ now from him and the time that I spend with him, and us relating to each other through like Rolling Stone magazine, and him putting me up on like Peter Gabriel back in the day, and Thomas Dolby, like all this like synth, like drum machine stuff that wasn't necessarily of African direct origin, but it was, because it was a drum machine in an Englishman's studio mimicking what he was hearing coming out of the Bronx. You know what I mean? Just filtered through a different set of experiences, a different approach. You know what I mean? So I've always loved music. I was afraid of attempting to make it for years, and, you know, not thinking, you know, like, oh, like, I'm not a trained musician. You know what I mean? But I can figure something out. I can make some drums. You know what I mean? I've taught myself. I think, you know, I do all right.
Yeah,
you know,
more than all right.
You know, thank you very much.
You know,
thank you. You know what I mean? But, you know, it's, and I feel like that the state of the world is also what's causing me is the push for me to not sit on any music. You know what I mean? I had a bunch of stuff that was like a bunch of unfinished stuff, a bunch of stuff that I was like, it's not good enough. And then, you know, this COVID thing happened, and I'm like, what? This could be it. And then I started to see how people was acting over, you know, simple stuff like toilet paper and fighting and all type. And I'm like, yo, like, I'm not trying to go out like that, you know, with like a bunch of unfulfilled stuff. Like, now is the time, like, go, push. And my wife was like, yeah, push, go. And, you know, anytime, you know, the woman on your team is like, go, you better go.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then because her interest was now involved, I was like, I cannot fail. You know what I mean? And that made me just start this cycle of free creation, where it's like, I may not use it right away. I don't throw away anything anymore. Like, whatever, if I sketch out a beat and it's ugly, I'll put it in the ugly beat file. And then once a week, I'll go through that folder, pull something out and try and straighten it out. You know, some stuff comes out of it, but out of just working and being familiar with what, you know, like I have days of the week where I just listen to music, and then days of the week that I just record that music to be chopped. You know what I mean? And then some days I don't listen to music. Some days of the week I don't listen to music at all. You know what I mean? I watch how these birds in my backyard are, you know, about to tear up my garden. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like trying to find the correlation between, because, you know, it's all related. Like, if you look in a telescope, right, out into space, you see a certain group of objects that are in orbit and moving and spinning. And then if you turn that telescope around into a microscope and look inward inside of something, you see the same type of activity. So it's like, what's really going on here? It's all connected. So there's music in everything all the time. And that's what I'm on right now. It's like, oh, you know, it may not be something somebody would want to dance to or rhyme to, but if they so felt inclined, they could, you know?
Yo, man. Dope. Just the way you think about things, man, is like, it's I think this is a conversation we definitely needed, man. Like, the conversations I've been having, like, on this show is like, like mind blowing. Like,
no,
for real.
My mind has been blown several times by your guests. You know what I mean? People that I had no idea that they even existed, and then I discovered what they do and how they do it through your platform, and I'm like, yo. You know, and I mean, the word you use is mutant. You know what I mean? And to be a part of that is incredible for me. You know what I mean? I've always been like on the edge, like peeking, like, what y'all doing over there? Oh, that's what they doing? Oh, now it's like, oh, wait a minute. Hey, there's a mutant over there. And there's another one over here. And, you know, those dots are starting to get to be connected for me through music.
The red ones. Yeah, y'all the red ones, man. Y'all the red ones on, you know what I mean? I put Cerebral on, and then boom, I can see like all of the red mutants all across the world. Crazy, man. Yo, okay. So that's you growing up. And that's you know, getting that spark to want to create music and stuff like that. If you're able to, man, is there a beat or a couple of beats that stick out in your mind that when you heard them, they just blew your mind? You were like, yo, who created this? Like, yo, what was he on? What was she on? Like, is there a greatest beat of all time for you?
Oh wow,
it's a loaded one.
It's so loaded. I mean, there have been moments in my life where, you know, I thought like Special Ed, I Got It Made was the hardest beat ever. You know what I mean? And even now I'm like, the way they chopped that out of that reggae record is like, oh, you know? But I mean, as far as there's some Dilla stuff that still has me open. You know, some Ross G productions.
Ross G, that's coming up. 4 day coming up soon, by the way. Yeah.
You know what I mean? My man, he all day. You know what I mean? Like he was an outside influence. Like I was always familiar with his music and I knew him as a person, but you know, it wasn't like we kicked it like that. You know what I mean? But when we saw each other in La Murder, it was like, hey, what's up? Hey, what's up? You know what I mean? He knew what I was doing because I was DJing. I was in a crew with I don't know if you know Erozilla.
Oh yeah,
and, yeah. We had
just
a
put
little
a showcase too. Yeah, he just put a showcase.
Yeah. He just did some a party called Soul Clap. Me and him and a couple other LA-based producers were we did a compilation that ended up being a crew. It wasn't supposed to be a crew, but it turned into this crew called the Neck Breakers. And through like that connection, I got to see a lot of cool stuff. But as far as like a beat of all time, I'd have to say,
and it don't have to be hip hop neither. No drama.
Oh no. Trust me, I'm scrolling right now. Like
okay,
and I gotta say, I mean, the beat that really changed me and set me on a quest for looking for other types of music is the 12-inch version of Thomas Dolby Blinded Me with Science. And there's an end part, and the UK press, the original like UK pressing plays at 45. And you know, I was one of them kids like, what if I play this at 33? So there's an end break at the end of that. And if you play that if you play that on 33, it's like some like some like neck. You know what I'm saying? And out of that, you know, or just out of, I mean, but I love so much music and so many beats. Like that's just one moment. You know, the first time I heard I Don't Know by Slum Village, my mind was blown.
I don't know. I fucking with you.
Right. The way he placed those chops.
Man.
I mean, Dabre stuff had me open for years. All the early like clip mode stuff, early knowledge stuff had me like, what? How he do that? Why he do that like that? You know what I mean? These are all things that I have absorbed, these moments, and I try to radiate them back outward in my music, but translate it through my experience. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, if you were to ask me like what's your all-time favorite song ever, I'd have to say, and this is a weird thing to say, but Gone Girl by Roxanne Shante is ridiculous to me. It was on the Color soundtrack.
I'm trying to remember it right now.
She rhymes over the It Takes Two beat. It's like a version of the It Takes Two beat. The that loop, but it's incredible. Or even MC Lyte's not Cha Cha Cha, Paper Thin. You know, the way that she just demolished. Like there's a line in there like, look into my eyes to see what I'm thinking. That dream is over. Your yacht is sinking. Like what?
Yeah.
That's so intimate. Like, look at me closely and I'll kill you. I'll break, you know, I'll destroy all your dreams. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't think that there's any coincidence that my two favorite songs are made by women. You know what I mean? There's a different emotional connection to, I think, shit that they do that we can't. Or I try to like figure that out, but you know. Yeah, man. Yeah, I knew you got a encyclopedia in your brain for like music and beats, man. So that's why I asked that question, because thank you. Yeah,
it's always going to be different for every single mutant that I have on the show, man. So
right.
But yo, like I have to ask this too, because we got a lot of mutants that's going through this journey right now of creation. Right? Creating music, art, stuff like that. Is there something Skyscraper would recommend that they must like watch, must read, or must listen to help them like just expand their knowledge base?
Whoa. I mean, I wish it was as simple as, hey, watch this movie.
Yeah.
And then, the key will unlock for you. Like for me, it's the opening sequence of a hip hop film called Style Wars, which is like incredible footage of New York subway train up against, I think it's like Flight of the Valkyries or some ill juxtaposition of like high and low, quote unquote, high and low culture. You know what I mean? And the spaces between that and the reasons that those things happen are the spaces that I like to try to get into musically. Like, why did that happen? What happened first that allowed that synergy to happen between those two, like, opposed entities? You know what I'm saying? So, like, for me, it's, I like to know why I'm doing what I do, which is why I consider myself a student of hip hop first. And even though, what I'm doing right now is, people can call it whatever they want, lo-fi, blah, blah, blah. You can call it whatever. At the end of the day, it's instrumental hip hop.
Right.
To me, take that how you want. But, it's beats, and beats serve a purpose. And, if they motivate people to rhyme, then so be it. But, let me do my thing first, and then, you can get your rhyme on.
Right.
For sure. But as far as like things to see, just be honest as a creative with yourself and acknowledge what your part of the mission is. You know what I mean? You might not be the person in the front. You might be the person that hands somebody else a record to sample. Or you might just be that head nod, woo, in the session that gives somebody the energy to keep going forward. I mean, for me, like, my music is cinematic for a reason. Like, I love film. You know what I mean? I love film. I love literature. I love the juxtaposition between and connection between, a book can be written one way, but a movie can be translated another way. And without that music, neither of them will exist in the same space in your mind. Like, think about the music, think about the movies that you love and how music relates and holds that film in your head. Like 2001, Space Odyssey, that music. Godfather, that music. Juice, the movie Juice, that music. You know what I'm saying? How High, that music.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's music is like a vehicle or a trolley, a train to help carry emotion. And for me, it helps me store them. You know what I mean? I can mark major transitions in my life. Like, oh, on this day, I first heard De La Soul. You know what I mean?
Right.
On this day, I went and bought Midnight Marauders. You know what I mean? On this day, I discovered the Dead Kennedys and that they had a black drummer. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, the majority of my reference points are musical, and then that ties backwards into the art that inspired that music.
Yo, man, so much jewels, so many jewels you're giving right now. Listen, for internets, yo, everybody, we are in this interview right now with Skyscraper, man. You know what I mean? One of the, I can't even say it. Either way, man, he is with Art Project Recordings, man. So, yo, once y'all get done listening to this entire interview, go ahead and check out his link, man. His link to the website got everything that Art Project Recordings is into right now, man. Some dope content. I need y'all to check this out, man. So, yo, I gotta ask this, man, because I see you doing live performances with the DJ controller and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But what equipment are you using to create your soundscapes, your masterpieces? And then which one is the brainchild?
I mean, the MacBook Pro controls everything that I can get into, you know, for now. You know, I mean, I gather like sample sources from wherever, like cassettes, vinyl, you know, like I have an older son. My son is 16 and he's on the autism spectrum. So he's mad musical by nature. And sometimes when I'm making beats, he'll come and sit with me, or he'll like lay on the floor and I'll hear him humming. And what he's humming is like a perfect bass line. You know what I mean?
That's so crazy. That's crazy.
Yo,
Yeah.
yo, or I'll be like trying to figure out what to do with a sample, and then he'll walk in with another sample on his device. Like he's taught himself Japanese through YouTube videos, so he's heavy into like vintage Japanese commercials. So like I get a lot of like outside like little soundbite ideas from him. You know what I mean? To me, it's about being a sponge and picking up what you can carry or what feels suited for me and what I'm trying to do. You know? But yeah, the MacBook controls everything. I got a couple MIDI keyboards that I use, a couple different DAWs that I bounce back and forth between. You know, I mean, I noticed that there's a lot of discussion on like what gear people use. Like I could tell you specifically, but it ain't gonna matter. I can hand you my mother's recipe for sweet potato pie on a piece of paper.
Yeah.
It ain't gonna taste the same.
Nope.
You know what I mean? To me, it's and in this day and age, I know that a lot of focus is being put on like the actual process of how things get made. And I agree and don't agree with that. I don't feel comfortable showing anybody like me going through. I don't want to sit on a live feed and go through 100 snares, 50 claps. You know what I mean? Put 10 different reverbs on a clap and then stack that on top. You know what I mean? Like to me, that's like if you even the artists that I work with, that I consider like my people like my gang. You know what I mean? It's very rare for there to be like a situation where like I'm in front of them like this is what we gonna do. You know, we've made stuff live before, but we've had that intention. Like whatever comes out, comes out. You know what I mean? I guess, I don't know, I'm a little more like Black Houdini with mine. Like just look at the end result of the trick. Like, look what I made.
Right.
Not like, you know what I mean? I don't think you need to know all that. All you need to know is, did it move you? Did it make you think something? Did you go on a trip? Because I went on a trip in that process. And I think that process shows, like my process shows in the end result. You know what I mean? Like you can hear you can sometimes hear like, oh, when somebody did like a quick microwave beat, like real quick. You can hear what's 10 minutes and you can hear what somebody really put their all into, I think. And, you know, my thing is just, you know, I have both sides. I do both. You know, I mean, I've been in sessions with people playing beats for people, and the beats that I've worked I stayed up all night once working on a beat like, oh man, this beat's gonna be crazy. And then I went to the session and played it and they were like, yeah, okay, that's cool. What else you got? Like, no, you don't know. I've been up all night, man. Do you hear this backwards and this and then they ended up picking something that was like, I didn't really work hard on it at all. Right. And that put me in a different headspace. Like everybody's perception is different. And it's not like I'm trying to play to that. I'm just trying to be as honest with my presentation as possible. And I think if I'm as honest and sincere as I can be as an artist and as a presenter of art, then more people would be able to interpret it how they see fit. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, even though it's music, it's still art. All I'm doing is making collages. I'm cutting out pieces and pasting them together, recontextualizing stuff. You know what I mean? And that at the end of the day is just me. That's just me making collages. You know? And if people are moved by what I'm doing, then my mission is complete.
Right.
You know?
Right.
I mean, my mission was complete as soon as the art was done, honestly. You know what I mean? Just to be able to get that out, to clear that headspace.
Right. Expression. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Man. Yo, so I speaking of that, I gotta ask you about because when I listen to your music, man, it is like you are creating a soundtrack for whatever you want to do. Like your album that you have, music for the airport.
Music for airports.
Yeah, music for airports.
Music for airports.
And I'm like, yo, man, like I can put myself right where you were inside the airport, and like as you're creating this tape, man, it's weird. I just visualize stuff crazy, but there's some albums, man, that I got to talk to you about. First one being Music for Airports, and then Gina with Rozo Regal. I gotta ask you about that album as well. And then there's another one, I think it's High Stranger. So can we what I know a little bit about Music for Airports because you left it in the description for Bandcamp. Matter of fact, everybody go check out his Bandcamp, man. Stop playing, yo.
Stop playing.
But yo, man, what went into these albums, man? Because
I mean, Music for Airports was me trying to get home from Oakland after my first live gig at Skyscraper, coming back from Hiero Day. And my flight was delayed, and then I ended up in a situation where the airline was like, if anybody wants to get off this plane, we'll pay you to get off the plane. And I was like, $500 to hang out in an airport? Why not?
Cool.
You know what I mean? I wasn't rushed to get back home, really. And, I let my people know, like, hey, I'm going to be a little bit delayed. And I just found the nearest electrical outlet and pulled out the MacBook and just, started like snatching stuff out of the air. And, if you listen to that, you'll hear actual like airport noise, conversations with people, flight attendant talk, gate personnel talk, and just the freneticness of being in an airport in general. You know what I mean? That's what that whole thing was about, was trying to capture that moment where if you close your eyes and listen to that joint in headphones, you in the airport with me. You know what I mean? And
right.
Some of those songs, like there's a song on there called "Oh Shit, Battle Cat is on my flight," and that's real. Like Battle Cat was on my flight.
Oh snap!
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like for real. Yeah, Battle Cat was on my flight. Like, oh my god! And I had just seen Battle Cat Saturday night tear down the beat showcase that they had, like the night before the Hiero Day. No, Sunday. I think it was Sunday night. I can't remember. But Lena Fornia played, Battle Cat played, Lena Fornia demolished that shit, Battle Cat demolished it, and then to be on the plane like, oh wow, there's Battle Cats. I'm like, hey Battle Cat, how you doing, man? I saw your set, it's really cool, Battle Cat, yay! And then I just went and sat down like, man, you just played yourself out. Man, oh man. What, if you could, what would you really say to Battle Cat? Yeah. And then that's that beat, like, you know what I mean? Like, Battle Cat is a tremendous West Coast producer and an influence,
right? Like
indirectly on how I move musically. You know what I mean? There's a song on there called $20 Veggie Burrito. I bought a $20 veggie burrito.
Holy crap!
Not good.
$20.
Not good at all. $20. It better be good for $20, but it was not. You know what I mean? So it was just me trying to capture and document that moment. Even the photo on the cover, like I shot the picture, and did the design. That was my point of view of being in Oakland International Airport for 5-6 hours, hanging out.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. What an experience, man.
And I mean, I'm happy that I was able to translate that into something that people dig. That's one of them ones when people are like, yo, I likes that. Oh, thank you. I made that in an airport. And then they're like, you did what?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I sat, you know what I mean? Like with minimal equipment and pasted that together. And, you know, I think it's a good document of that moment.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is, man. Yo.
So,
Gina.
Man, look.
Yo.
Man, look. I can say so many things about that record, but I'm gonna say this: that my friend, and I mean my sister, Rozo Regal, came to me. Like, I've known her for years. I used to teach at an after-school program in Watts, and I taught culinary arts, and we had a whole like food division, and I met her through that. And you know, the guy that was doing the beat classes is a dear friend of mine, DeeJay B-Side. He was like, yo, you got to come to my class and check out this girl. She can freestyle like forever. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. Kids freestyling. Oh, that's cute. And then I went, and she wasn't just freestyling. She was like spitting entire songs. Like conceptually, like how is she getting to that so fast? And it wasn't like, you know, you see people freestyling and they'll like point like, oh, he got on purple shoes. And then they'll like add purple shoes to the thing.
Right.
She would tell the story of the purple shoes off looking at the purple shoes. It was like way deeper.
Right.
It was like, you know, like a kiddie pool versus a puddle of ocean water. Like the depth is different. Right. And, you know, we became close. And then, you know, I didn't see her for years, but I still knew she was working, writing songs, making music. She's done a lot of stuff. A lot of, you know, she got a lot of work out, and we ended up reconnecting after I had created the environment we're in now, which is the Church of Radio and Autonomy, and I had been low key, like making beats just for her. You know what I mean? Like the first batches of this round of Skyscraper beats were with her in mind, for her to just get loose on. And I ended up playing her all those beats. None of them really moved her. And I was working on an alias project for a singer. There's a singer alias that I have. His name is Louis LeGrand. And I had put together an album with the beats that I just started writing to. And I shared some of those songs with her. And she was like, oh, these are great beats. Some of these songs are great ideas. And she just took off, and a lot of those Gina beats were originally purposed for another artist, but she made them hers. And there's no way that anybody could do those beats better, or even the stuff that I ended up making for her as those sessions continued on. Like, we did that record, I think we did that record in like 6 months, off and on. And it was there's no other word to describe those sessions other than tumultuous. You know what I mean? Like, we both pushed each other as far as we could go. And then there was a point where we both broke. And we were like, man, F this record. Man, F you. Nah, man, F you. You know what I mean?
Right.
Off of some creative, you know, just creatives being creative. Family being family, so to speak. And we ended up going back and revisiting that record, and I ended up sequencing it in a certain way and using some stuff. Like, there's, you know, the record opens with the voice of Lionel Richie talking to her, like asking her, you know, tell us who you are, where you from. That really happened. She was on American Idol.
Yeah, I was gonna ask that.
That was a real event.
Man.
And it was like, you know, you don't get, you know, don't put that in front of me like that. I'm going to take it. I'm going to use that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So the whole record is basically, it's dedicated to her mother, who is now gone on, you know, to the other realm. And it's a document of Rosalind's existence during those times, which is why those records, those songs are so raw and beautiful and filled with like sophisticated street level juxtapositions and spirituality that I think that at that time, and I think people still haven't really grasped the weight of that record yet. Like that record's been played in some rooms, it's been played in some situations, and people have been like, yo, this is an incredible record. What do we do with it? And it's like, the longer that she and I keep working together, we just started working on some new stuff. She just got into her own as making her own beats. She got a project where she's rapping and singing over her own beats. She's incredible. She is really, really like super incredible. It's an honor for me to be able to, and for her to trust me with that project. You know what I mean? It's gotten a lot of plays in the United States and other places. And, you know, we've gotten a couple phone calls like, hey, you know, we want to look at this more, which is great. And those things will continue to happen. But, you know, for now, her, you know, she's going to do another record with us at Art Project. You know what I mean? It's creatively, like, she feels at home. I feel at home with her in the studio. You know what I mean? She's an incredible soul to be around and just to work with, and to see what she does with my production. Like, nobody does it like how she does it. The little pockets that she finds, you know, because my stuff is built off of oftentimes like imperfection and flaw. You know what I mean?
Right.
But if you stack enough of those imperfections in the right way, it'll resonate to a certain person, and to her, she hears that. You know what I mean? Which is why there's like some songs like, why y'all leave her vocals like that? Because it match.
Right.
It's as honest as that beat is. You know what I mean? It's as honest as the story that she was telling. Like, there's a song on that album called Love, which is, you know, love. And she was going through it, you know, with a situation in her life, and that situation called right at the end of her tracking those vocals. So that there's a telephone ring, and she's like, yo, that's love on the line. Like, that was real. That was the end of that song. Like, we were gonna go back and put a whole nother verse and do all type of extra stuff to that. No, that was it. The universe sent that, like, put a bow on that. Like, that's done. And then there's a lot of songs on that record that are like that are like random, just expression with no intent, like, oh, I'm trying to make a hit. None of that stuff. Like, I think all that stuff in the right context with the right amount of money behind it, you know, that's some SZA level action. That's some futuristic, spaced out Sade shit. You know what I mean? And people that have heard that record have issued those comparisons to those artists. Like, she's been called more than once the Hood Sade, which I'll take. You know, I'll take that. I'll take it. Like, what? Word. I'll take that. You know, as heavy as that is to carry, you know, it's an interesting take on the work that we do.
Right.
You know, which is by far the most emotional, sincere music that I've ever made thus far.
Wow.
You know?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
For sure.
That album, man, is from the very start to the last track, man. I'm just sitting back, I'm like, yo. Like, it's emotional, man. It's an emotional album, man, that there's no way somebody can listen to that and not feel the emotions that you two put in that album, man. Like, that's, man, I can't even say nothing else. Like, no other words would express like the way I felt when I was listening to the album, man. So clap it up for y'all. Amazing job, man.
Man, thank you. That means a lot. That means, you know, that's like, check that box. Mission complete.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We both put it out. We both put our best work out.
And
at that moment.
And I know her mom will be super proud of that, man. Like, super proud of that album and just the way she put her feelings into it, and it was probably therapeutic for her to do that as well. So
I mean, yeah, you could definitely get that out of that record. There's a lot of mention of healing and finding the way back to a quote unquote lost path, or just growing, and you know, growth is often, it's not attractive to watch. You know what I mean? If you watch the caterpillar come out the cocoon joint, that ain't cool. At first you're like, ugh. But then when it's over, you're like looking at the butterfly like, yo, that's beautiful.
Right.
But you done forgot all the struggle. You know what I mean? That record is the document of the uncomfortable part of growth. You know what I mean? Like the violence of spring that I was talking about earlier. It's, you know, I mean, it's a document for sure. Like, here, this is what was happening at these moments on these blocks, and we overcame that and put that in a package. Hopefully this can help y'all.
Yo,
you know?
man. Yo, listen, every internets, man, I need y'all to go ahead and run up this Gina album, man. Search it up. I'm gonna link it in the description of the show, just like I do with everything that we talk about with our guests, man. But yo, man, like I need y'all to go ahead, tap that link, support the album, listen to the album, share this album on your socials and all that stuff, man, because y'all going cover it, man. Even Hip Hop 100 even covered this album too. Which I was like, Hip Hop 100. I never heard of Hip Hop 100 before, so
right. But it's a hip hop, like a straight up hip hop blog. You know what I mean?
Right.
And they got a hold of it, and they saw it for what it was. It was like, you know, you're not gonna listen to Bang Bang Shoot 'em Up every day, all day.
Right.
You know what I mean? You want to come home, put your feet up. If you smoke, you gonna want to smoke something. If you drink, or if you just chilling, you want to kick back and listen to something else. And this is that something else for a whole lot of LA people. And people outside of LA now, you know, are starting to get a hold to it. We just put out a single of remixes for one of the songs that's on there. It's Perfect. That's on there. And we enlisted our man from Brooklyn, Pudge. I don't know if you're familiar with Pudge, but Pudge is out of this world. Producer, DJ. Known him for years. He flipped an incredible version of that. DB the God flipped an incredible version of that song. And then I flipped what I think is an incredible, like, up-tempo. Like, you know, I'm not known for doing up-tempo stuff, but I took it to the basement. Like, we bought a water heater in the wintertime, forgetting that it's snowing, to this. You know what I mean? It's some new directions for everybody involved, really. So.
Dreams become alive.
Yo, man, and just so y'all know, man, y'all can get this this project on artprojectrecordings.bigcartel.com. All right, there's a t-shirt that goes with it too, man. That's got a dope looking t-shirt, man. So
yeah, designed by our graphic language agency. That's the name of our graphics division, the Graphic Language Agency. I'm not sure who runs that or who exactly designs that stuff, but
got you. Yeah,
you know,
amazing job, yo.
Thank you very much,
man. Everything just pops, and it's like, and yo, man, it's like,
I mean, that's the mission. Like, we don't have a lot of money for marketing. You know what I mean? Our marketing budget is our marketing budget has been thus far what we make off of streaming royalties. So add that up for yourself. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, and I'm fully aware that every day over 250,000 songs drop by 250,000 really sincere people that know this is my shot and I'm about to make it. So how do I separate the work that I make from this pool of art?
Right.
How? And the only way to separate it is to make it look different and to make it look and feel sincere. Like it's genuinely a piece of art. It's not just a song. Like we struggled, like, are we going to put out albums or are we just going to put out singles? And everybody that we were consulting with was like, albums are dead, blah, blah, blah. Why would you waste all those songs if you don't have a following? Like, oh, nobody knows who you guys are. Excuse me. Like, okay, but these songs don't make sense just on their own. Which is why everything that we've put out so far, except for the last couple things, have been albums, like complete thoughts, like total entire packages that even if you were to take High Stranger and Gina and DB the Gods records, if you were to listen to them all together, you would hear a through line, a connection creatively that's not intended, but it is just because we all are on the same frequency and vibe. So, yeah.
Yo, man. You listen, y'all go ahead and visit our projectrecordings.bigcartel.com, man. Show your love, man. Show support right there. And then go stream it. You know what I mean? Oh, no. Go to the Bandcamp and then go stream it. All right? Because artists need lunch money too, yo.
You can hit any of your favorite streaming platforms. And, you know, you can search Art Project Recordings. The stuff will come up that way. Or you can search, you know, the each individual artist. Or you can just hit the link tree in my Instagram bio. And soon you'll be able to go to our own dedicated website, which we are working on right now as a central location for you to gather all things and keep up with Art Project Recordings.
Boom. There it is, man. So, okay, I gotta ask this, man. As an adult, who are your like top 5? It don't even have to be 5, but you're like your inspirations for creating music. Like who in the beat community, like, is Skyscraper listening to and like, yo, this is the music I like, this is the people I like?
Man, there's so many beat community members that inspire me, and so many people that I have not met yet. You know what I mean? But as far as people that like, oh, okay, you know, I can't come slouchy around them. Blkgod9 from Love Supreme is a killer. Tvkii crazy with it. So many people, dude. Abstract Butterfingers, Erozilla has changed the way that I look at what you can or shouldn't sample. You know what I mean? He has a sensibility that, you know, is different from mine. Like, I'm always looking for like the not so obvious, but his approach to flipping like a black barbecue staple, you know what I mean?
Right.
Something like outstanding. You know what I mean? Like his take on that is refreshing. Like, oh, I could do that if I chose to. But you know what I mean? It's I get inspired for different reasons by different people. Like, as far as musicians go, like outside of the beat scene, like Michelle and Dege Cello is one of my tremendous inspirations. Like she's I don't know if you're familiar, bass player from DC, but in New York, she does whatever she wants to do. You know, she had major label action years ago, and now she creates from a space of sincerity, you know, and honesty. And that's the space that I'm trying to be in. Is you know, if you gotta lie about it, why bother? Like it's like we on the clock. It's the end of the world.
Right.
The world as we know it is soon. All this esoteric stuff that we do, all this art that we make, all these songs that we singing, and I push this button and put this delay on it. None of that'll matter. All that's gonna matter is where the food, where the water, where the safety at. You know, so I'm trying to get this stuff off while it still matters, while it can still, you know, bring joy or help somebody work through something, or even help me get something off my chest that I'm trying to say, you know?
Right. Yo, man. crazy perspectives, man. Like, man, there's a couple more questions. I know,
for sure,
we getting into it right now.
Let's go.
So listen, everybody, I appreciate y'all. If y'all reached this point, thank you for tapping in. Thank y'all for staying synced into the frequency as well. Also, check out the links in the description of the show. Show your support for everything that Skyscraper Art Project Recordings is doing, what the Rec Show podcast is doing as well.
For real.
I just have to. I think you talked about it a little bit earlier, but I just wanted to ask you, what is it like performing in front of people? Like, you perform for Love Supreme, you perform for Hiero Day. Like, what is it like performing your music, your creations in front of people?
It's the illest, best thing ever for me. Like, I mean, coming from a DJ background and you know, understanding how to read people and being so concerned about, are people dancing, or having like the bar owner, they're not dancing, make them dance. Right. Or like I've played a couple gigs where the promoter, like, you know, I was known for doing a very specific style of music at a certain tempo. Don't book me unless, you know, if you don't want to get some stuff to listen to, don't call me. You know what I mean? I'm not going to come in there, it's 11 o'clock and I'm playing stuff fast. No, That's not me. I'm not that kind of DJ. Never have been, never will be. So as far as what's happening now with the Skyscraper stuff, to be able to play in environments that feel more like art galleries and situations like that, it's the presentation is different. You know what I mean? And I think as a introverted extrovert, it's perfect for me. It you know, I can, you know, I make eye contact. A lot of people, they just this head down the whole time. But it's like, to me, I try to put on a little bit of a show, not like consciously, but if I'm feeling it, I feel it. I'm a dance, you know, and it's wonderful to get that immediate head nod response, or to not get it, or to see somebody really like, like they was about to walk out, but then I dropped this beat and then they stopped and came back. Or, okay, it's all these MCs in the corner ciphering their faces off right now.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, woo, that's, you know what I mean? That does it for me. You know, and just to be able to have enough work to fill up. I can play, you know, for as long as I needed to off of my own stuff, between originals, remixes, flips, stuff that I've sampled. You know what I mean? It's fun to be able to pull back the curtain just a little bit and share like that part of the process. You know what I mean? So like sometimes, like I'll show like the origin. Like, okay, I sampled this, but it's from this. I'm not gonna give up no names, but if you know, you know. You know what I mean? And if you don't, you go dig and then be like, oh wow.
Right.
You know, which is, I think, becoming like a lost art. Like, people are so used to being told, to where like digger culture is not falling by the wayside, because there's people that dig harder than ever now too, which I'm grateful for. Which if not, you know, some of my stuff wouldn't have been discovered. You know what I mean? God bless the diggers. For real. You know what I mean?
For real, yeah, man.
Yeah.
So, yo, I always ask this, man. Like, you've been creating, you've been, you know what I mean, expressing yourself. Like, what's the one thing you wish you knew before you started on this journey?
Dang. The one thing I wish I knew, I'd have to say would be that I couldn't fail. You know what I mean? Just like the actual creation of the work is the prize. You know what I mean? The act, being in tune with myself and the outside world, and just even having an opportunity to where people would even be curious enough about my creations to want to hear them. And then the reactions that I get, it's like, you know, and it's coming out more and more. Not like I'm getting arrogant or cocky, but I'm getting, you know, like I'm treating it differently now because of how people are treating it and how people are treating me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying I'm the baddest or the best or anything like that, but if anybody want it, I got it.
Right.
And I mean that in the most hip hop way I can possibly say it. You know, if anybody want to step, we can do that, because I think that element, the element of battling, is I think the only component I feel like that's missing from this scene. It's so it's such a nice, warm, yes, share, and you know what I mean, which I love. But at the same time, it's like, you know what I mean? Where's the
yo? Who got that? Who got that?
You know what I mean? Like, and you know, sometimes I find myself getting caught up in that, like, where I'll be like scanning the room, like, okay, I see you over there.
Right.
Oh, okay, thumbs up. All right, we cool. You know what I mean? Not like I'm not out here instigating stuff, but you know, I'm not gonna take no smack from no beat bullies.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna leave, you know who I'm talking to, beat bully. Anyway.
Yo, man.
Yo, you know, that's a little inside joke. But,
yo,
you know.
I feel like one of my previous guests on the show, man, who's a pillar in beat community, man, Nod Your Head, right? Nod Your Head's beats is, I always
that
feel
dude,
like he ready for battle, yo. Like all the time, yo. And
yeah, he's definitely someone that I've met, and he's, every time I've gotten to witness his get down, it's like, woo, wow. Like that dude he's on. He's on some shit. The way that he treats his samples, the way that he approaches everything that he does is incredible. And I mean, mad respect for that dude.
Yeah.
You know, I would hate for him to be like, all right, me and you, let's go. I'd be like,
you're like,
oh, no, nah. What am I gonna do? You know what I mean?
Nah.
But you know, yeah, I mean, he's super dope. He's one of them ones. Like, wow.
Right. Yeah, man. Yeah. So I mean, yo, I say that, I always ask that question because it's always a lot of lessons that you learn as you're going through the journey, but it's always like this main lesson that people have, you know what I mean, that the mutants that my guests have, that's like stands out above the rest. So I always just gotta ask that question, man, because you know, people are listening, my mutants that's listening to the show, man, they're gonna go back and listen to this and be like, man, like I wish I this, I wish I did this, and this. But if I can cut the curve, you know what I mean, cut the amount of time for them to reach their full potential with this podcast, like, why not do it, you know?
I mean, for me, it's everything that I've experienced in my whole entire life, the good and the bad, led me to this exact moment in time. This interview, the reasons why we're having this interview, if any of those things had changed, I would have been on a different trajectory, a different path. You know what I mean? So I'm grateful for all of that shit, bad and good.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because, you know, I'd be sitting here, you'd be talking to somebody else. You know? Or I'd be sitting here talking some whole other stuff. You know what I mean? And there's no way to know. I don't think there's any way to like accelerate that journey. Because if you do, you might miss something important. You know what I mean? I think it's being honest with yourself as an artist and knowing your role in society as an artist. You know what I mean? It's people toss around the word creative so loosely these days. I try not to use it unless I'm in a room with people that also use that word. Like, I'm not a creative, I'm an artist. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm an artist. And to me, they're two different things. You know, creatives make content. I make work. I create artwork that just happens to be perceived as content. You know what I mean? I don't even like the word content. Like don't disrespect. You know what I mean? This ain't content. We worked a little harder than that.
Right.
No disrespect to those that do and that make their way in that lane. I can't do it. I can't. I'm a funny dude, but I'm not that type of clown.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm not. I mean, the label our project has a TikTok that has one post because I'm trying to figure out how to navigate it and not be like, whoa, TikTok. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I'm still trying to figure out a way to keep it as sincere as the expression of the art itself.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like if you find it, you find it. And that's probably, a lot of people are like, oh, if you only did this, then more people would know. Yeah, but the people that know organically. They genuinely know based off of something they've heard or something that they've seen. And that's the equivalent of how it used to be when you would hand somebody a tape or pass them a flyer. That word of mouth. But with a foot in the digital realm and another foot in the analog world. That's the balance that we're trying to strike. You know what I mean? Like digitally available, tangible goods that mean something and that weigh more than the average.
Right. Right. Are y'all gonna press up like cassettes or vinyls for Gina?
Yeah, we are in negotiations now to find a tangible media home for that stuff. And we're sorting out, actually how that's going to get done. Basically, who's going to pay for it? It's happening right now.
Right.
But yeah, Gina's like so far everything on the catalog, everything that's out is going to have a physical counterpart very shortly. There's some songs off of High Stranger, my first record, that are going to be going on to 7-inch vinyl. That like DJs are asking me like, yo, if I had this, I could do this. Like, oh, I was going to do that anyway. So here's your vinyl. You know what I mean? Super limited edition, hand screen covers. You know what I mean? Like something that you could listen to it or you could display it. Uh-oh, I gotta grab my cord. I'm about to run out of bag. All right. You know what I mean? Like that type of stuff. And then like with the t-shirts, we wanted to feel like something a little bit more than just the t-shirt. Like there's stories in these, in these pieces, even though it's just a t-shirt. But, I don't know if you have a favorite t-shirt, but I mean, your favorite t-shirt is probably your favorite t-shirt because there's a story attached to it. You know what I mean? We're trying to build the story into the actual work itself. It's like another companion piece.
Yeah, it's another layer.
Exactly.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, yo, I'm interested, man, because just the picture that you have with Gina, but then Skyscraper, High Stranger, like that photo. I don't know how you did it, man, but like it looks like a plant with the house with the airplane going over. Like, yeah, I'm like
that. Yeah, that's spring. You know what I mean? A creative outburst for me. I'm in my backyard. I'm looking around, taking pictures, and I saw, that's my avocado tree, my second year avocado tree. That was when it first started. No, wait, that's my orange tree. My orange tree. Those are the first blossoms after a rain. You know what I mean? And then it was like the concept of High Stranger is, obviously being high and then connecting with strangers and the reconnection with people that knew me as something else. It's like, this is what I'm on now, so that growth in the forefront represents the skyscraper. You know what I mean? That plane in the background is the destination. You know what I mean? That house is stability. You know what I mean? All those things and varying degrees of focus and perspective create an image that then attaches to that music that would become hopefully nostalgic to you, like familiar and unfamiliar at the same time, I guess.
Dog. Like, dog, man. Like, yeah. I like having these conversations because I like to like know, like I like to understand like just what went into it. You know what I mean? Like what
Right.
what were you thinking when you were creating this and that? You know, not the whole process or anything like that, but you know, I like that stuff. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna front. When I was doing the High Stranger thing, I was terrified. Like it was like, you know, my first major, you know what I mean, all across all platform release. I had a, you know, distribution in place for the record. It wasn't just like I could just put it out on SoundCloud and just let it sit there. You know what I mean? I had to learn marketing for that. You know what I mean? There's stuff that I've never done before that I learned, and they're now part of my daily operation, you know, on how to get these records in front of people. I'm not saying, you know, we're not moving a whole bunch of units, but we moving a whole bunch of units so far, you know, on our own, you know, and we're getting ready to do some more in some other arenas. And, you know, you'll be hearing, you may not even be aware of what you're hearing, but I guarantee you in your day-to-day existence, you will come across some music that's made by us, even if you just flipping channels on the TV. You know what I mean? We're in that lane now.
Okay. Yo.
You know.
Oh man, who was just talking about this, man? It was Kristen. He was just talking about sync licensing?
Sync licensing,
yeah. He was just talking about that too. Yo, man. So he got me thinking about it. And you know, everybody's like, there's some like yourself, like your company, y'all think y'all doing it, man. I'm like, yeah, I mean, it's money to get out there, compared to just, you know, letting it sit on, you know, these platforms, you know, for pennies on a dollar type of thing. So, you know, why not get it? First of all, get it into a show, get it into a movie, a soundtrack or something like that, and then get it heard by millions, because streaming TV shows and movies ain't going nowhere no time soon. So
nah.
And man, so okay, last question, man, because I know you know, busy, man. You got things to do. Actually, I got two questions, man. This one just popped in my head, man.
Two questions.
Two
no,
questions,
of course, please.
So, besides having your own cheat code in the house, man, with your son, you know what I mean? What is that? Like, how important is it to have the support of your wife, man, and everything that you're doing, man?
I wouldn't be able to do this. You know what I mean? I would not feel comfortable going outside of my home to show people some shit I've made if she didn't support it. You know what I mean? Like, she's my gauge. Like, if I'm making something and it's knocking, I'll know, because she'll float back into the studio. She's a dancer and a choreographer.
Okay.
So, you know, imagine, right? You know, like, I got my own personal dancer and choreographer in the house, and I know if something is knocking, her feet tell me. You know what I mean? Like, and sometimes she'll come, you know, because I listen to a bunch of stuff. Sometimes she'll come back in the studio and be grooving or whatever, and she'll be like, "Who is this?" And I'll be like, "Oh, that's me." And those are the best ones when she don't even know it's something that I've made, and it's already affected her. Like, that's hard to, like, woo, that's dope to me. But yeah, without her support, it would be impossible. You know, just like I support her creative endeavors as well. You know, she's a choreographer for a choir called the Voices of Creation. I don't know if you're hip to them, but they went to the UK last summer. They're going back this year. It's led. Are you familiar with Jemetta Rose?
Jemetta Rose. Yeah, because Stony Creation did I think she did a interview with her.
Yeah.
On the hip hop show.
Yeah.
Shout out to the hip hop show. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So you know, she works with them. She puts her movements on this choir and she roams the earth with it. And if I didn't support that, you know, we got to support each other. It's such an incredible pairing for, you know, A, Black creatives, and B, Black creatives that are actually working. You know what I mean? And for us to support each other I think is the most important thing. Because without that, you know, like I said, I wouldn't feel comfortable. I'd be like, man, I'll just play this stuff in the house.
Yeah.
Or, you know, do a live stream every now and again. But it's something about getting that energy reflected back from a stranger or from someone that just heard, like, oh, I heard you were dope, I had to come see. You know, and that happened to me more than once at Love Supreme. People that I didn't know, like, oh, you know, my homegirl told me you was dope, I had to come see. Because she know what she talking about, and yeah, she was right. Oh wow, thank you, nice to meet you. Take this sticker. You know what I mean? Stick it somewhere.
Right.
You know.
Yo, man. Yo, that's amazing. Like I had to ask that, man, just because, you know, some of my guests may be doing it on their, or some of the mutants might be doing it on their own, man. They just, yo, it's like one person that can put a battery in their back, inspire them to just keep going, you know, like that's more than money can buy, yo. Just having that inspiration, that instant feedback. And,
oh, for sure.
You know what I mean? So, you know, just getting around people that actually want you to succeed, want you to win, want you to, you know, expand, get better. You know, that's like super important. Same thing with my wife, man. My wife, she be giving me a hard time because I'll be in the beat room a little bit too much, but you know, that's like my man cave, you know, so. Yeah,
but see, you got to get her own seat too.
Yeah,
you know?
get her, I got to get her a seat.
That's get her a seat, yeah.
Okay.
Maybe change the lighting. You see, my lighting is red. You know what I'm saying? It's, you know, the wine might come out and just come and sit and listen to these beautiful situations that are happening. Who knows?
Yo, you giving me ideas, man. Yeah.
That's what I'm here for.
Include her. I got you. Of
course.
Man. Yo, man.
And it could go either way. She could either get into it or she could be like, this is too much for me. I'm going to leave that man alone. Either way it goes, you win.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You win both ways.
That's game, yo. Woo. Yo, man. Okay. Last question, man, before we
yes, sir.
Skyscraper. And once again, I appreciate your time, bro. Appreciate
man. I appreciate you having me. You have no idea.
Yeah.
You know, like last weekend, I played my first headlining gig, which may seem like small to some, but for me, amazing. And then this weekend, I get to sit down and talk to what is quite possibly one of the most important documents of this scene that we have access to. You know what I mean? It's not just, you know, it's the roster of guests that you've had is stunning, and to be counted amongst those people is spectacular for me. So again, I say thank you, bro.
Yeah,
and I mean it.
It's my honor, my guy. My honor, man. Like, yo, I'm a music nerd, yo. So I just love doing this, you know? So
right.
Yo, man. What is what's in store for Skyscraper in the rest of like 2023? Like and you know, art project recordings. Like, what's in store for the rest of the year? You have anything get ready to come out that we can plug right now?
Yeah, we can
socials,
plug.
All that.
Yes. On April 20th, which is a holiday to some people, to some it is not. I am released. Yes, take that how you will. I am releasing my second. Well, it was technically my third official record on Art Project. It's going to be available on all platforms and in the physical. It's called Nod Future. It's basically the album full of just head nods, space out. You know what I mean? I'm really proud of it. Worked really hard on it. You know, it's not necessarily a follow-up to High Stranger, but if you listen to them back to back, you might experience something. What else? My Fancy New Parade is coming out. That's the Noise project that I'm working on. I got a album I'm working on with DB the God, called a project called Sky God, which is incredible. Another project that I'm working on with my man Abstract Butterfingers, who's an incredible producer, under some rap aliases. Scares the Enemy is mine, and folks can find Scares the Enemy projects in the link tree as well. Yes, for those of you that are wondering, that is me rapping. So take that.
Okay.
Yeah, everybody's like, who is that? Who is that? Oh, that's Scares. Nah, Scares is me. Schizophrenic art creative guy. Yeah, take that. And he'll battle anybody too. So we got more stuff from DB the God. Also on 420, we're dropping a record by him called Green. Take that how you will. New Rozo Regal coming out for sure. And some trips, you know, some traveling is going to happen this spring and summer, you know, inside the United States, as well as looking at taking some trips outside. London has been calling, so we going to see what we can put together for that to represent, you know what I mean? To represent what we do over here. And, you know, like I said, it's an honor to be here and share this music with y'all, and you specifically, you know what I mean? Shout out to everybody that listens to the Rec Show Pod. Shout out to the Rec Show Pod. Shout out to Goldmine, you know what I mean? Shout out to everybody, all artists. It's our time. The gate is open. You know, whether or not we choose to step through it is up to us. And it may not be what you expect once you go through that gate, but keep working, and more will be revealed as you continue on your journey. I'll say that because, you know, I'm having what could only be described as the time of my life right now. You know what I mean?
Right.
The people that I've met, the things that I've seen, the love that I've felt for some stuff that I'm making, you know, for all intents and purposes, in the multi-purpose room that I share with my kids in my house. You know, I carved out a corner of their playroom. You know, it's our playroom now. It's an art gallery. It's a cultural archive. It's an office. You know what I mean? It's a studio. It's the Church of Radio and Autonomy. And it's what we do here. We make stuff.
That's a
you know,
the Church of Radio. What did you say? The Church of
Radiant Autonomy.
Yeah. Yo, man.
Yeah.
Yo, man. Yo. How can people tap into you, man? Like, what are your socials? Where can people reach you at if they want to reach out and try and get in contact with you?
I mean, you can see me in the streets. No, I'm playing. But you can find me. The easiest place to reach me is on Instagram. That's at Skyscraper_rules. You can find me there. You can find the label at Art Project Recordings, all one word, on Instagram as well. I'm sure there'll be links, hopefully, to these things as a part of the show package. That would be lovely. And just keep your ear to the street. And if you hear anything about Skyscraper, you should pull up. If you hear anything about art projects, you should pull up. We're working on a group show for everybody on the label to perform all at once. We have never done that. And we found a space to do that in LA. And that's going to be something special. You know, me, Skyscraper, DB the God, Rozo Regal, Scares the Enemy, everybody, the whole roster is going to pull up and flex. So,
yo, who put together the mixtape? DJ Cornbreeze. Who is DJ Cornbreeze? Real quick, I just had to ask that real quick, man.
Cornbreeze is the homie. He's been the homie for years. A legendary LA disc jockey. And when it was time, you know, I could have had the option. I could have made the tape myself. but I wanted to tap in with somebody who I thought was dope, that would present the music differently from how I presented it. And I wanted it to be perceived differently, like, oh, here he come with a tape that he didn't mix himself. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think it got perceived different because of Cornbree's, excuse me, of his, I guess the weight that his name carries in the street. That dude is a young legend.
Yeah.
There's no other way to describe him. He's so action-packed, and that's my dog. And when, you know, I stepped to him and asked him, like, hey, would you be into it? I sent him the music, and it took us a minute to get it together. But once we got it together, you know, it did its thing. People knew. People were like, oh, what's this? Because it kind of came out of nowhere. Like, so what you saying is you produced all this stuff? Like, yeah, I produced all this stuff. And a lot of people were like, oh, so this is what you've been doing for the past couple of years. Yeah, that's what I've been doing for the past couple of years. And it's all in one place, thanks to the homie Cornbread.
Yeah, man. On
You know what I
Mixcloud. Yeah, on
Yeah.
Mixcloud. Yo, y'all. Go ahead. I'm gonna link that as well on the description of the show, man. So people can tap in and they can get like it's like a 38-minute project. So they can get like in 38 minutes what the art project recordings is all about in that 38 minutes.
Up until that point, yeah.
Yeah, and then go dig. Yeah, and then
exactly.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm super excited for what our project recordings has got coming out, man. What y'all have already done, Skyscraper, man.
Thank you, man.
You on another level, man. This ain't gonna be the last time we talk, man.
Oh no, definitely not.
For real,
definitely not. Nope.
I'm definitely supporting the team, man. So I'm gonna go ahead and head over to our project recordings.bigcartel.com. I think I'm gonna get a CD and a shirt, man. Just you know what I mean? Because love is love, you know. So
man, appreciate that for real.
I want my listeners do the same thing, man. Like, yo, support local, man. Like, I know you got your favorites. I know you got your big people that's, you know, out there. But if you got talent right next door to you and you ain't supporting, man, what you doing, man? What we doing, yeah? You
know, they doing something. It ain't right, but they doing, you know.
They doing it. You know what I mean? So, yo, we're gonna in this show, we support local, man. So if you got merch, you got CDs, you got cassettes, you got vinyls, T-shirts, all that type of stuff. I even seen somebody selling wrapping paper, like with the logo on it, yo. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? If you got all of that, yo, just put it up there for people to, you know, support, push it out there, man. And if you want a guest on this show, I'm gonna help out, man. So, yo,
that's word. Good looking out, man.
So what, yo? I got a Renaissance man in front of me, man. Skyscraper does it all, man. He's a green thumb. He's a producer, father, husband, company owner. You know what I mean? Negotiator. Like, what else? What else can we say, man? Like,
weirdo. You know,
live performer.
Yeah.
I mean? Just a conduit from the universe, man. I guess that's the best way I can say it, man. Like the universe just speak through you, man. You know. So,
I'm an artist, man. I'm just an artist, a giant mirror reflecting the wonder of the world that I see and hear around me. That's all I can say.
So listen, man, I want to thank Skyscraper, man, our project recordings, for gracing us with his presence, man, and amazing conversation, crazy jewels, and it's hope y'all enjoyed this, man. It's gonna be some more dope conversations coming on the way, man. Some otherworldly type joints, you know what I mean? So I appreciate the support, man. Go ahead, click the links in the bio. If you want to support the show, also go ahead and support the show. There's a link at the bottom in the description of the show called Support the Show. You can go ahead and do that there. And then, yeah, man, I'm going to see y'all very soon on another episode of the Rex Show Podcast, man. Happy 404 day, man. Rest in power, Raj G, man. Oh, Raj! Yeah. All his music, man. Yo, man. Yeah, man. Enjoy the day, yo. Peace and love, everybody. Bye, 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 bye.